I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
I'm not quite sure, John, but I kind of fell in love with this group, these young Oilers in '83, when they got all the way to the Stanley Cup final in Long Island. That was a dynasty with the Islanders, and they lost in 4 games. And I remember walking out with Wayne and Glenn and Paul and all the guys, and everybody was just in silence, just walking and bruised and tired and worn out. And then the next year, I lived through it, and I really fell in love with this team. They made me feel so comfortable. And we got together again, as everybody knows, the next year in '84, and they won their first Stanley Cup. The first of 4 here in this.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Lubed for April the 26th, not 26th, 3rd. Sorry, I messed up that. Unfortunately, we heard the sad passing this morning. Well, I did anyway, as I was getting ready for work, about the legendary voice of CBC, something that I was ingrained into at a very young age, Bob Cole's passing. Now, yes, he lived a long life. He was almost 91 years old when he passed. But it's just one of those things. It was when he retired. It kind of struck me away because he's that voice. He is that voice that was ingrained in me at a very young age. Say what you will. I know there's people that didn't really care for him because they thought he was a little inaccurate or whatever. I was more of someone that loved the sound of his voice. Same with Harry Neal. When those two guys did the playoffs, to me, that was a huge thing. This goes up to the likes of, Chris Cuthbert, Kevin Quinn from the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, and now Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusk. Those guys are ingraining themselves into the culture of the Edmonton Oilers. So we're going to get more into my thoughts about remembering Bob Cole shortly into this. We're going to also review Game 2 as the Oilers did lose in overtime. It was unfortunate, but there was a lot of good takeaways from that. I also have a little chart for Onze versus Connor. And we're also going to preview the game that is going to take place in 45 minutes as the Edmonton Oilers take on the LA Kings for Game 3. This is the rubber match. And hopefully the Edmonton Oilers can pull out a victory here and regain home ice advantage. So we got a lot to talk about, and we might as well get into it right now with the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings Game 2 review. Now, you guys may remember when I did the Game 1, there were certain players you had to watch out for, and I gave you guys the list of that. And unfortunately, the Oilers didn't get the message because those players were killers in that last game, especially Adrian Kemp, Drew Doughty. All those guys were very effective. So we're going to see what happens today. We're going to see how Will Ferrell is dressed up. I'm sure there's going to be cameras on him if he's at the game. So yeah, let's get into this as the Oilers lose 5-4 in overtime. It's unfortunate, but it was the case. And it did start off with the Los Angeles Kings, Adrian Kempe, one of those guys I told you guys, the Edmonton Oilers have to contain this guy, and Anze Kopitar. Those are two guys that you have to really keep an eye on. This started quick, 3:19 into the first period. We got a 1-0 lead for the Los Angeles Kings. The Los Angeles Kings would further lead 2-0 when, again, Adrian Kempe and Anze Kopitar would get their wonder if I did that twice there. Is that actually the fact? I think that might be, but regardless, I may have screwed that graphic up. Regardless, it was 2-0 here for the Los Angeles Kings. The Edmonton Oilers would get on the board here as Brett Kulak, out of nowhere, Brett Kulak all of a sudden decides to score, which is awesome, and that's what we need. We need lots of secondary scoring. Leon Draisaitl and Warren Foegele would get the assists, and we have a 2-1 game for the Los Angeles Kings. The Kings would make it 3-1 when Drew Doughty would get his first, and I believe his last time he got one was in like 2014 playoff goal. Yeah, you can't get this guy waking up. So yeah, this was at 18:02 of the first period. The Oilers would end the first period down 3-1. We go to the second period, where Dillon Holloway would get his first of two from Sam Carrick and Matthias Janmark. And then we would follow it up with Zach Hyman on the power play from Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. The game just got interesting. 3-3 tie. However, LA would make their own choices on this one, and at 1:46 of the third period, Kevin Fiala would get an assist from Jordan Spence and Quinton Byfield. We have a 4-3 game. So the Oilers were chasing the game all along. And that exudes so much energy that they can't play from behind. If they're playing from behind, it's usually not going to be good. And I'm going to be honest with you, Stuart Skinner had a bit of a subpar game. Hopefully he's going to be better tonight, which, again, that game starts in 50 minutes. I can't wait. Vancouver is currently, last I checked, they were currently leading Nashville 1-0. I don't know if it's changed. But, yeah, the playoffs are getting very, very interesting. Dillon Holloway, again, his second of the night. Matthias Janmark would get the assist. It is a 4-4 game. And unfortunately, shortly into overtime, the LA Kings, Anze Kopitar from Quinton Byfield and Mikey Anderson put the Oilers to rest for this one. This was a totally bad defensive breakdown, basically letting in Kopitar for a breakaway. And yeah, there you have it. Game over. So the series is now tied 1 game apiece. Oilers are attempting to reclaim home ice advantage tonight. Let's hope that they do. Let's break down the stats for this game. And it's amazing what you witness when it comes to the hits, like how impressive things have been. But the Oilers had 31-26 for shots on goals. When it comes to hits, this is where it gets interesting. You don't see this in regular season. 58-55 for the Edmonton Oilers. So they're banging bodies. There's a good thing and a bad thing to it. Good thing is you're really showing your will to win. The bad thing is you're also wearing down yourself as an opponent. So, and then you got to remember, you got 3 other series to go if you want to win that cup. So I'm happy with the hits, but boy, this first round usually is one of those rounds that puts a lot of teams behind the 8 ball because they try so hard with the hitting and all that. I wouldn't mind if they toned it down just a touch with the hits, but it is playoff hockey. You're playing for the Stanley Cup. All right, let's go on to face-off win percentage, 50.8% for the Edmonton Oilers. Just a slight edge there. The Oilers power play, they were 1 for 3, which is 33%. I'm okay with that. And their penalty kill was 3 for 3. I got that one right this time. as they killed all 3 penalties, 100% penalty kill for the Edmonton Oilers. Awesome job. Can't complain. Let's see if this works here. Oh, nope. There we go. Let me make sure I get my buttons right here. That's good. That's an awesome job for that. Okay, so we move on to okay, so this is the block shots. This is block shots. I somehow erased the block shot stat there, or the text of block shots, but this is block shots. Kings were 88% in favor of their block shots. So basically, the goals that went in were shots that weren't blocked. So if you look at it, Cam Talbot actually had worse of a night than Stuart Skinner, because the Kings blocked 88% of those shots that were taken, and then the other 12% were actual shots that actually made it through. I would believe that, but anyway, yeah, it's crazy. My first star, I'm going to give this one to Zach Hyman for the 1 goal. Not a bad outing for him. My second star, obviously, is going to go to Matthias Janmark. Now, you guys may wonder why I'm picking him. Well, the fact that he had 5 hits plus the 2 assists really elevates him into my eyes, and I thought he did an amazing job. And then, of course, our first star, Dillon Holloway, 2 goals. This kid is really starting to lock in and secure his place as an Edmonton Oilers regular. Good job, Dillon. Really good job. Hopefully he can pull that magic off again tonight. All right, guys. Let's go into this one statistical graph that I have. And this is the 2 captains. This is Anze Kopitar and this is Connor McDavid. And obviously, comparing a player to Connor McDavid is kind of ridiculous. But Anze Kopitar's statistical ability for the most part is pretty good. So yeah, let's dive into that and what I see here. So if you look at Connor McDavid's, like, his numbers are through the roof in pretty much every category. The one category that Anze Kopitar is very weak at, and as you can see, it's highlighted in red, is his hits. He's at 46%. Even Connor McDavid is hitting at 74%. Like, this is the difference between apples and oranges, essentially. Like, I mean, Connor McDavid is the full and complete NHL hockey player. And this is why a few episodes, well, a couple of months ago, actually, it was, I asked you, I did a poll question. Who has been the best Edmonton Oilers captain? And I put McDavid in there with Gretzky, with Messier, and who knows. But you guys selected to pick Gretzky. You know what? He's done a lot. But I'll tell you one thing right now, from what I remember, he was not a hitter. Connor McDavid is putting everything on the line for this team and trying to get us to a Stanley Cup. So, I mean, and that's not to say that Gretzky didn't, but I'll tell you right now, Gretzky was not a hitter. Gretzky was not Connor's not really a fighter either, but Gretzky was not a hitter. Connor is definitely a hitter. He's right up there, and I think that's the one stat that makes him better than Anze Kopitar. Also, Anze Kopitar is a little bit, he's the elder statesman of the Los Angeles Kings. So, you got to take it what it's worth. So, in the next episode, I'm probably going to match up our two best D-men. I'm going to go probably Drew Doughty versus Darnell Nurse or Ekholm. I don't know who I want to pick from the Oilers on that one just yet. But yeah, I'm going to kind of do this little statistical stat breakdown throughout the playoffs, just to kind of get a feel of what the Oilers are up against, what their opponent is up against. Okay, so yeah, I woke up this morning to go to work, and I put on Sportsnet, and right away they were saying that there was doing some remembrance to Bob Cole, and I'm like, oh, did he pass away? But I didn't see anything right away, and then I Googled it a little bit later, and I found out he did pass away. Say what you will about Bob Cole. I know that he has. I know my one friend in Edmonton has had issues with his accuracy and all that, but when it came to a man who supported the Oilers, just like the video showed right at the beginning when they were closing down Rogers or Rexall Place, he was a heart and soul guy, and he's going to be truly missed. Him, and Harry Neal, who did the color commentating back in those days. They're ingrained in me. They're just, it's tough to explain, and you'll understand later. For you guys that are young out there, you'll understand later when you start thinking about Jack Michaels or Kevin Quinn or whoever, or even Louis DeBrusque. Like, there's just a certain sound, certain acknowledgement from these guys, and I think if I look back at the broadcasting history of the NHL, hands down, my two best tandem was Bob Cole and Harry Neal. Two best. I mean, yes, we have some good talent right now with Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque. Kevin Quinn did an awesome job. Chris Cuthbert does an okay job, or actually a real good job. I wouldn't say okay, but a real good job. But when I think of the broadcasting guys, those are the guys that lived in my era. Now, people that are older than me remember Foster Hewitt. So it's just one of those things that ingrains in you. And I was actually quite saddened to learn of his passing, but at the same time, I mean, he was 91. He lived a full life, and yeah, he'll be dearly missed. And my heart and my thoughts go out to that family as they are dealing with the sad and loss of him. Hopefully they are like taking it kind of understanding, because I mean, I hate to say it, but he was up there in age, like 90. He was going to be 91 years old. But a great man, legendary commentator. He's one of those guys that will always be ingrained in me. He was actually inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in the broadcasting category in 1996. So that in 1996, so he was already a Hall of Famer for almost, well, it would be almost 20 years. Like, it's crazy. So rest in peace, Bob. It is a sad day. When I heard that, it was a sad moment for me. But we have to move on. All right. Let's get into tonight's game. A little bit more upbeat here now. And hopefully, the Edmonton Oilers can win this rubber match, regain home ice advantage. But we'll see. We will see what happens here. Again, the series is now tied 1 game apiece. The lineups for the LA Kings is Leprenier, Kopitar, Kempe. Kempe is dangerous. They got to somehow neutralize him. Moore, Dayon, and Dayon's another one. Arvidsson, like there's a lot of weapons on this Kings team. So they got to kind of get back to that fundamental defense that helped them along the way during that 16-game winning streak they had earlier in the season. Fiala, Dubois. Dubois actually got bumped up here. So there is a few changes from game one anyway. This is actually about 2 days old because they were flying. So I don't know if they're going to actually play out these lineups. But Grungston is in. Byfield is out. Pierre-Luc Dubois to the third. He got promoted. And then Trevor Lewis to the fourth line. So some slight changes. But I think those changes took actually effect in game two. So they're probably going to stick to what works. That's what I would think. As far as your D pairings, Anderson and Doughty, Gavrikov and Roy, Eklund and Spence. Your goaltenders are Cam Talbot and Riddick. Copley is out with an injury on long-term injury reserve, so I don't anticipate him playing this year at all unless they go really deep. With the Edmonton Oilers, now you may wonder why this one has a white background. I tried to make it a PNG. It just wouldn't work for the life of me. So unfortunately, that's what you're going to be stuck with was that white background. Adam Henrique, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Leon Draisaitl, Warren Fogle, Evander Kane, Ryan McLeod, Corey Perry, Dillon Holloway, Sam Carrick, and Matthias Janmark. Matthias Janmark has been playing pretty good too, so that's another guy to look out for. For your D pairing, and of course the white goes away here. I tried. I did everything I could to get that as a PNG, but for whatever reason, it didn't recognize that white background as an interference. Ekholm, Bouchard, your top two. Nurse, Cody Ceci, Kulak, and Desharnais are your pairings. Stuart Skinner and Picard are your goaltenders. And knock on wood and pray, but right now there is no injuries to report. So yeah, it should be interesting. Let's go into final thoughts, guys. As I'll just double check to see. And there's nothing available there. Okay, so yeah, as the playoffs tick on, there's a few surprises that have really enlightened me so far. The fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning are this close from being swept, and the fact that the New York Islanders, Carolina, I could see that one. I could see how that one could be a sweep, but I'm actually shocked that the Panthers are manhandling the Tampa Bay Lightning the way they are. I actually had Tampa to win it in 7, but I don't think that's going to happen. So there's 2 games or 2 series right now on the verge of ending it. And the playoffs continue. Best time of the year. I've said it countless of times. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. And I'm going to settle down, have a few beers, make some nachos. If you guys are witnessing this channel for the very first time, I do encourage you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Those of you who have watched me through the years, thank you, and I do appreciate your support. Go Oilers, go, man. Go Oilers, go. Rest in peace, Bob Cole. You guys have a great night.